Sometimes the word feminism gets used like, crazy depending on your interpretation of it. I think we're living in a generation now where women are stepping up and women are becoming, some of them, providers for themselves and whatnot. But what I think is important.
Oh God, why is that woman staring at her like that? Like she's just staring at her so intimately, like she wants to just have her for herself, like she wants to grab her. Well, it's just a Nigerian man here again, and I'm back with another video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not done so. I came across this podcast a while ago, and I just thought to cover an important topic that I've actually been talking on my channel for a very long while. So without wasting your time, let's just get to it.
Women to know when to sit in your masculinity or when to sit in your femininity.
So you're conditionally?
It is.
You're conditional.
What do you mean I'm conditional?
So 1 minute you're masculine, 1 minute you're feminine.
No, we're both. Everybody's both. Everybody's 100%. Both masculine and feminine. You both have the. Everybody has testosterone and estrogen.
Yeah, for
Everybody
sure.
has it. It's in our DNA.
No,
literally.
I get what you're saying.
So what I'm saying is sometimes when women in the work fields go and present themselves, they sit in their masculinity, and some of them don't know how to come home and sit in that femininity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. I've always said this before, that in a situation where men and women are competing for resources, whether in the workplace or even in life generally, I've said it that men will naturally just come out on top. And this is just God's blessing to men, because men generally have more ambition and more strive for men just have resilience, more resilience for struggles and competition and overcoming challenges and stuff like that. You get? So if you put men and women in a position or in a situation where they have to compete for resources, men will just naturally come on top. And I'm happy that this woman is saying that requires a masculine trait. Because women in the workplace, even women who are on top, they know how they had to strive to be on top, to be female CEOs and female owners of, businesses and stuff like that. They know how they had to strive to get to where they were, and mostly they engaged masculine traits. Like they had to bring out their masculine side, and they had to just limit their feminine side to get what they want, because you need that aggressiveness in this world if you want to really come out on top. She get, and she's pointing that out, and I'm really grateful, because this is something I've been talking about for a very long while, and I'm happy that a woman is actually agreeing with me. So let's continue.
That's the problem.
We're complex creatures. You're right, and I'm saying for whoever's watching this, like as women who are successful, need to learn how to sit in their femininity when need be. But I do think also some men who are masculine do need to learn to sit in their femininity.
The way this woman looks at the other woman, man, she seems obsessed with her.
And be empathetic
all the time is what I'm trying to say.
No, do not be vulnerable with women.
But you've never been in love.
You've never been in love.
You want to
Hey, it's not really about being in love or not being in love, you get? But let's continue.
do the example?
Women are not built to handle masculine problems. Being vulnerable with a woman is some of the worst advice that modern day women give to men, because if I sit there and I cry to you, oh my God, my life is hard, blah, 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 blah. You might sit there and console me for a bit, but deep down you're like, you fucking bitch. And you're gonna go and find someone.
That is so not true.
I know.
So you're saying that what he's saying is incorrect?
No,
that a guy
vulnerability
should
shows
cry in front of
Vulnerability is
Be
so
human.
powerful.
Again, this is a common example of women saying one thing but doing another. They're saying this right now because it's politically correct to say, you can cry to me, you can be vulnerable to me, etc. But deep down, if your man came to you and was crying on your shoulder saying, I don't know what's going on, her
I would be
vagina's
there
gonna,
for him.
Can I finish? Her vagina's gonna dry up, she ain't gonna wanna fuck with him anymore, and she's gonna look for a stronger, more capable man, because women are designed to look for security.
Just because they cry once, bro?
Hey man, I can't tell you how many times we've brought girls.
Crying once, I would say, crying. I don't think they should ever really be a reason for you to cry in front of your woman, except let's say you lost a loved one, or you just something really bad happened, and what's worse than losing a loved one. But I would say crying in front of your woman actually shows weakness, if you ask me, because let's look at it truly. What does crying solve? I'm not talking about you being vulnerable now and telling your partner what's going on. I mean crying, like literally shedding tears, what does it do? What does it solve? Crying has never solved anything. I know, yes, it eases your emotional tension and whatnot, but actually it doesn't really solve anything. And nobody, I know, even I for one, if someone is crying around me, I would not just know how to act. Because it's not it's not something we see every day, people crying, and you get, so it's not something that we have developed a way to act when it happens. And especially for women, okay, women cry all the time, but the women don't normally see men cry. Do you understand me? So when you cry, when you are going through issues I'm not saying when you lost a loved one or something really bad happened. I'm saying maybe you are going through stress and life challenges and issues. There's nothing really there to cry about, bruh. There's nothing really there to cry about. But I'm going to break this down. Let's just finish with the part of this clip that I want us to watch, and then we'll head to it.
On the show with their own, they tell us on air. One time my boyfriend cried in front of me, and I never looked at him the same. It's like a glass. If you shatter a glass, right, and it smashes onto pieces, and you glue it back together, yeah, maybe it'll work. But when you pour water into it, it's always gonna leak.
I get more
That's
attracted
the
when
issue.
guys cry.
Anyway,
I
okay.
that's like the best sex I ever have,
Fan.
when a guy is vulnerable.
Have you done a poll?
I come again. I don't believe her when she says she gets turned on or she gets attracted to a guy when he cries. I don't believe that. There's nothing attractive about crying. But she said vulnerable too. Yeah, I can agree. Someone's vulnerability can actually move you closer to them, but not crying. There's a difference between this thing, crying and being vulnerable. Crying has never made me attracted to anybody. And I know women who will agree with me. So, come on. There's a difference between vulnerability and crying. Let's continue.
Let's do a poll, Eric. Is it attractive for a man to cry? Are you
It's
saying
not like
that it
all
is?
the time for sure, but when you see your fucking
Not
masculine
every fucking
man,
day. That's some bitch shit.
But when they're
once in a while,
See, here's the
You saw how she said she wanted to say when you see your masculine man crying. Do you get? She wanted to say when you see your masculine, that means this man has always been in his masculine frame. He has always been a strong man. He has always been supportive. That can be an excuse for she being understanding when you break down emotionally. You have always been there as a strong and stable man and support for her. That can be an excuse for her, to her, when you cry. But you just breaking down and crying when, if that's the kind of person you are naturally, you're always bitchy and whiny and complaining about life and crying and breaking down. Come on, there's nothing attractive about that. Let's be truthful to ourselves. If you're a strong man already, if you are a man who is self-sufficient if you're a man who is just so in tune with himself, that is so relaxed and calm, and nothing really phases him, you cry maybe once in 20 years, and then you just happen to have a breakdown around her. No issues. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing bad. But you being a whiny and normally complaining bitchy person, come on, there's nothing attractive about that. Let's be truthful. Let's be truthful.
It's a big problem, once again, right? You're saying it's okay, right? For you and for you. It might be okay in this moment. However, the next girl might say, you know what? Damn, him even just crying in this moment, I lost interest. So we don't know how far is too far, and that's a problem, because you may say it's okay, but she may not say it's okay.
You're right.
And as a guy, why am I gonna make that chance? We're gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna be the rock. I'm gonna be her foundation, and I'm gonna be strong for her. Versus, I'm gonna cry in her face and she might leave.
Yeah, because you don't know how the girl's gonna react, because it's you have to be in a relationship with a guy, have him cry in front of you, show that inability to provide security, and then how you react, you might not necessarily know how you're gonna react. So what we tell guys is, don't be vulnerable with your girl. It's a waste of time. And quite frankly, can I finish? Can I please finish?
Now I would give my first point and my first reaction to the only instance when you should cry. This is the first instance I would give. The only time when you should actually be vulnerable to your partner. He just said and I agree with him, where he said you never can really tell the way your woman will behave when you cry. You never can really tell if it will turn her off. You never can really tell if it will turn her on. But for what we know, majority of women get turned off by guys crying. That's just the truth. There might be some women who that turns them on. That's actually a turn on for some women. Like, it actually turns them on sexually to see their guy cry. I think I saw a movie one time like that, and I think there's a name for it. You being turned on by crying. That's the fact, and that's true. But what we are saying is, majority of women, it's a very small minority of women who really like to see a guy cry. So you could never know how your partner will take it. So before you break down in front of your partner, bro, make sure she's an understanding person. Make sure maybe when you have been sad on one or two instances, she has been there to comfort you and then tell you it's all right, it's okay, and she has been there for you consistently. She didn't log off or log out and just was like, you do your own. It didn't turn her off when you got sad and really, like when you got really, really down. I'm not talking about a full emotional breakdown now. I'm talking about when you got really down. It didn't faze her at all, and that's fine. But if you know your woman is the kind of woman who, when you get sad, she logs out and log off, or she just becomes bitchy and whiny, or she doesn't, you know, when you get sad and you feel down, she's not able to be there for you. Do you understand? There's no need to cry in front of her, bro. That would just be the last straw that breaks the camel's back. This is the only time when you can be fully vulnerable, and if you want, cry in front of your partner. I would never do so though. But for you that wants to try it out or do it, this is the only time you should do it. If your partner is understanding and you have seen that when you have had minor breakdown and issues, she has actually been there. She moved closer to you. She didn't move out. She didn't like move off you. She was there for you when, like, you get what I mean. If she comes closer to you when you have issues, then you can do whatever you want to do. But if you know that she pulls back when you are going through your issues and your stuff, then there's no need to cry in front of her, bro. Absolutely no need.
The thing is that women do not handle masculine problems. Men and women live different realities. Women are not equipped to handle masculine problems. You need to go to your guys and tell them you have issues.
I don't like when he just says women are not equipped to handle masculine problems. Calm down, bro. Calm down. It's too... There are problems that men and women share as human beings. You get... Women have some masculine problems. Men have some feminine problems. The ability to solve it depends on the individual. You cannot just generalize and say women... You get me. Let's go on.
Issues. You want to cry to them. You have problems, you want to talk it out with them, because you cannot show that you're soft or weak in front of your woman. Because even though women say, oh, well, no, I'm capable of being empathetic, I can understand your struggle, blah, 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 they really don't. Because when a man cries in front of a woman, it's going to incite a natural reaction of revulsion, because men that cry and are soft are not attractive, and women are hardwired to look for security. This is why guys that are soft and lose frame, the girl leaves them and goes to another guy that knows what's going on. And it's a very, how do I say this? It's a biological response. You know what I'm saying? Like, women are just designed to look for men that are strong. So we tell guys, don't even open up Pandora's box and get sensitive around your girl.
So don't show emotion ever?
Sorry, I can't. Is it my turn? Are you done?
Crying and telling her about your problems is not a good move to go. Obviously, you know, being a human, right? You got to have some kind of, you know, social calibration here. Being a human is one thing, but to sit there and cry and tell her about your problems, etc., where it's going to affect her mindset as far as like, damn, is this guy the one? Is he the one that's going to be able to provide me security? You don't want to do that.
So I will just end this here. My second reason, the only time when you can cry in front of your woman, I'm sorry, when you can be vulnerable in front of your woman. The second reason, or the second scenario where you can do this, is you can tell her your issues, tell her your problems. This guy is saying, don't tell her your issues, don't cry. Don't cry. But you can always share your issues and hang around your woman for emotional support. That's all right. But make sure you have a plan. Don't become whiny and don't start nagging at her and you don't have a plan. You have to have a plan after whining and telling her your issues and telling her what's going on. Letting her understand that, yeah, this is what's going on in your life. You're having some struggles and life issues. That's okay. But make sure you're on the journey of progress. You know what to do, or you are planning on what to do. You don't complain and stay where you are and just stay there and be sad. And no, you have to have a plan. Before you complain, or even as you are complaining, make sure you have a plan of what to do to move ahead. You cannot lose your job and you tell your woman, I've lost my job, this was happening, and then you do nothing about it. You don't try to find a job. You don't try to make progress. You have to continually and consistently be trying to make progress with your life. Do you understand? And if you have issues and she leaves you, good riddance to bad rubbish. You need situations of life to expose need to be going through some kind of issues to expose some people and how they truly feel about you. Do you understand? So that would just be a blessing. If you tell her your issues and she uses it against you later, you let her go. That's a blessing in disguise. It's always a blessing to lose people who are not valuable to you, or people who were hiding behind the good times. Do you understand me? So yeah, this is where I end this video. Thank you guys for the support. I'm really grateful. Go follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. Please like, comment and subscribe. I love you all. One love. Peace. Ciao.